Hello and welcome to How to Leverage AI in Your 2025 Meetings. I am Pip McFarlane, Head of Business Development at AMI, and I am thrilled to be your moderator for today's LinkedIn Live session. AMI specializes in white glove hybrid, live and virtual events, ensuring exceptional, memorable experiences for all attendees. This AI Meetings Revolution live stream is designed to help leaders like you understand how we're leveraging AI to enhance corporate meetings and attendee experiences. Today, we hope you're going to learn how AI is transforming strategic sourcing and collaborative space management, creating efficiencies in event planning, elevating networking opportunities, enhancing creative and presentations, and also providing insightful evaluation and data analysis. So I am truly honored to introduce my panel of AMI valued partners who are joining me here today, each of whom are leaders in the meetings and events industry. We have with us Brittany Fisher, Team Lead and Product Marketing at Cvent. Welcome, Brittany. We have Brian Cole, President and CEO of edgefactory. We have Nina Reyes, Global Marketing Director at Interprenet. And finally, we have the fabulous Lisa Boyce, Director and International Channel Sales at Brandlive. Welcome to all. So let's get started today. And so first, to kick it off, I'm going to hand things over to Brittany. Brittany comes to us from Cvent, who is a global leader in meeting and event hospitality technology. AMI was actually one of the first agencies to adopt Cvent venue sourcing way back when in 2008. And since then, our teams have become Cvent certified, utilizing the full suite of Cvent solutions to streamline our event management and amplify event impact. So welcome, Brittany. I'm so excited for you to share how Cvent is leveraging AI to enhance and improve this event experience.
Thanks, Pip, and thanks for that great introduction. I'm so excited to be here, and it's great that you mentioned our venue sourcing tool because that's actually the first thing that I want to talk about. Cvent has been around for many years. We've had our venue sourcing tool for many years, but finding a venue is still challenging. There's lots of room for improvement there. Typically, when you think of trying to find a venue, you use a search bar and you type in the city that you're looking for and the dates. And then from there, you have to try and figure out if it fits your needs. And some of that comes from an RFP, and some of it just comes from clicking into each venue that you're looking at. And that can be very tedious because every event that you have has different specifications. You may be having a huge conference where you want to make sure that there's 50 meeting rooms, or you might want to have a small networking event that you want to be convenient near an airport, have some outdoor space. So it differs every single time. And the natural language search that we just rolled out into our supplier network allows you to type in those specifications. So like you can see here, you can search for a hotel in San Antonio with 300 rooms and within 20 miles of an airport. And it'll automatically filter based off of what you put in, making it easier to find the actual venues that fit your needs.
That's super exciting. I know that our expert team, AMI, of sourcing specialists are going to be so very excited about these enhancements. So tell me a little bit more, how else is Cvent using AI?
Yeah, so it doesn't just start with venue sourcing, it goes across the entire event process. And one of the main ways that we're using it is with content. Typically, one of the main ways that you think about using AI is content. There's content across your entire event. You write session descriptions, you are messing with speaker bios, exhibitor bios, survey questions, and that can be a very time-consuming process. So we have an AI writing assistant across the entire platform that allows you to tailor your content and make it consistent across your entire event. And we're in the process of rolling out some improvements in that I think are really cool. So you have pre-prompts based on where you're writing your content to make it easier to get started. And then it's a conversational chatbot. So the chatbot can ask you clarifying questions along the way to make sure that it really understands your content needs before it makes suggestions. And then my favorite piece of this is that it is relevant to your event and understands your event. So instead of going to ChatGPT and putting in all of your information, your event title, your description, all of your sessions, it will have that information because you've already created it in Cvent, making it easier to and quicker to create session content or event content because you don't have to bring in all of your event details to begin with.
Great. No, that both the sourcing tool and the AI writing assistant sound like they're really effective ways to help our planners. How is Cvent also using AI to elevate the attendee experience?
That's a great question. We cannot stop thinking about the attendees. It's not just about the planners, but about the attendee experience. So one of the other ways that we have AI in our platform is our Attendee Hub mobile app and website. And we have session recommendations and attendee recommendations. And we did this really thoughtfully. We have found that when you have these recommendations in your phone or on your web, that you're actually twice or even 3 times more likely to actually match with those people. It's like when you're watching Netflix and you have a suggested show, you're probably more likely to click on it and explore it than just any other show because you think it's relevant to your interests. So we have those attendee recommendations where it can suggest people for you to meet and sessions that we think that you will like right in the attendee app on site.
That's amazing. For someone like me who's in a business development role, having those kind of connections qualified ahead of time is going to be, phenomenal and really advantageous to making true and valuable connections. So that's great. Fantastic. Anything else?
Yeah, well, that's just a little bit of what we have in our tool right now. I couldn't talk about everything. We have a lot to cover today. So we have a lot on our roadmap. This is really how we're thinking about our roadmap in terms of what pain points can we help you solve? We say all the time, where to start with AI is think about what takes you the most time. What's the most painful thing? And that's where AI is where you want to focus on. So reimagining venue collaboration, improving the event building experience, and personalizing the attendee journey at scale is where you'll see developments in our product in the future. So anyone who's familiar with Cvent, keep a lookout because we have some exciting things coming.
It definitely sounds that way. Thank you so much. So it sounds like Cvent's helping planners save time and also really advantageous to event owners and attendees too. Thank you so much. So following Brittany, I'm super excited to also introduce our next panelist, who is Brian Cole, President and CEO of a fellow diverse NGLCC certified organization, The Amazing, the all singing, all dancing edgefactory. Brian's team are super creative. They're a powerhouse in their industry and dedicated to producing immersive event experiences and engaging environments. They specialize in using cutting edge media and technology to captivate audiences. And I really can't wait to hear how Brian and his team are leveraging AI to elevate the attendee journey at live events all over the world. Over to you, Brian.
Well, thank you, Pip. I will have to say, I've known you a long time, and I really look up to you. So, well, thank you. Good to be here today. I'm so excited to talk about how we're using AI in the creative world. We specialize in creative works and adding a special edge to meetings and shows around the world. And I love this thing. It is so incredible. And I have a few tools. A lot of these are free that you can try even at home. I'm going to talk a little bit about voiceover generation. I'm going to talk a little bit about AV quote comparison. And finally, I'm going to show you how we use AI to be able to talk to agencies and design firms in our own internal design department about how the visualization strategy behind a meeting. So let's talk first about AI and voiceovers. You know, we do a lot of special voiceovers for all types of shows, but even if you don't have a big budget and you can't hire a production company, you can generate your own voiceovers for a show. And I wanted to show you an example. We just use AI because we wanted to have a sound of a computer for a show. A pharma company was doing a whole conference on AI, so we wanted to use AI as much as we could. good. Let's take a look at how that turned out.
Fantastic.
But here at the Economic Impact Summit, we're asking, what else is possible? What questions should we be asking? What problems can we solve? How do we stay connected?
That's just a quick example, and you can see we even had to put some effects on top of it because it sounded so realistic. So that's a fun tool. There's a tool called Speechify. There'll be a link in the deck at the end here, but anybody can try this out. It's really a lot of fun. Another thing is we wanted to do some playful voiceovers. We wanted to demonstrate for a meeting group of planners about how we can use AI of people dead and alive. And we classify this as like a comical parody, but let me show you who the celebrities are we brought back to life here.
Well, hello there, y'all. It's an honor to be here at Digital Lab to discuss our role in digital transformation and trends like artificial intelligence. Now, I know what you're thinking. What in the world does Dolly Parton have to do with artificial intelligence? And is that really her voice, or is it a computer? Well, let me tell you, honey, I might not be a tech expert, but I do know a thing or two about creativity, and that's what artificial intelligence is all about.
Dolly, I heard we might be able to round us up a free drink or two tonight at the stage.
Johnny, let the youngins have their fun. After all, there may be something artificial about us showing up.
Speaking of artificial, as we say goodbye, take a listen to this country track fully composed by artificial intelligence.
So just some funny examples, we love to push the envelope, as you say. And what are some different things that you can do? There's a website called PlayHT, and I'll have a link too as well. Play with this. You can sample some VO, and you can actually have some fun at your meetings with this. And I say just classify it as a comical parody, and try to identify in the VO that it's not the real person. Next up, I want to tell you another thing that our team uses on our operations side. We're always looking at AV quotes. We have AV partners around the world that we work with, and we're always looking at multiple quotes. We're using ChatGPT to just give us an assessment on comparing these two quotes. We put two, you literally drag and drop into the title bar and say, hey, ChatGPT, analyze these two quotes in bullets and tell us what the main differences are. So a lot of people, if you don't have a big staff, you can even use AI to help you get smart in working with your vendors to provide analysis. And my favorite sample I'm going to share with you today, it's about show looks. Show looks are really at the central of everything that we do. We try to make inspiring show looks that represent a theme or a brand. The next slide, you'll see some examples of how we do show looks. For one show, we might have an 80s night party. The next day, we might have a competition look, or we might have a special keynote look. But when we have that overarching thing that we play for walk in, walk out, that's the main background of the show, we had a show in Denver. And the next slide will show you some examples of some different ways we generated AI in the meetings where we're like, okay, how about mountains, Colorado, a spectrum, rainbow accents, and cityscape. So we put some keywords in and we generated several images and able to kind of hone in on what our client envisioned for the show, but also so when we talked to our design team, we had some inspiration so they could make things with things like digital signage and content and things on the reg page. Everything had this central brand and theme. So this is a look, what you're looking at now is the end product of that. And I'm going to show you a clip of that in action. Let's take a look.
Right.
Please welcome to the stage, NGLCC co-founder and president, Justin Nelson.
Well, there you go, Pip. Those are a few examples. I know you and I sat at this show together back in Denver, but I
was
love
trying
it.
to find the back of my head. I was trying to think which one's me. I was definitely
Yeah,
there.
you're in the third row table on the right there. So, but it's very exciting, and don't be afraid of it. I think try new things. Everything that I said today, a lot of these apps are free or there's free trials. And you'll see on the links page here, you guys can try this out for yourself. Even things like image creation. You might not need the big Adobe suite to do it, but you can download free apps like Wonder or Leonardo AI. These are free things you can do to try to generate things, and it might help you communicate your vision and strategy with your creative partners as well.
Thank you. As always, Brian, that was super exciting and fun. So it is all about, this time the live event and how we can truly ensure that we elevate that live experience for all of our attendees. I'm really excited to introduce you to our next panelist, who is actually one of our amazing global live interpretation partners, I know that she helps attendees experience both at live events and also in virtual environments as well. Nina and her team bring advanced technology and skilled linguistics together to provide seamless multilingual experiences, ensuring inclusivity and accessibility at our events all around the world. So welcome, Nina. Really excited to hear about how you're leveraging AI within your interpretation industry.
Thanks, Pip. I'm very excited to be here and to introduce you to Interprenet if you don't know about us yet. And we are a language service provider offering the entire spectrum of language solutions for your live event or meeting. And that includes interpretation, captions, tech support, and even post-event multilingual content production. And what's unique about us is that we don't just provide those services, we consult each and every client, including AMI, on the best solution mix for their specific needs, whether that's human interpretation or an AI-enabled solution. And one of our latest solutions is AI speech translation. And I'd like to introduce you to the solution here a little bit more. So our AI speech translation solution is designed for live meetings and events that require cost-effective, simultaneous interpretation that's still highly accurate. And how do we do this? We use the most advanced technology and we deliver live speech translation with AI-generated voices, not Dolly Parton, but other voices that sound completely natural, and you can choose your gender, and you can also complement the live speech with live translated AI captions, so you can make your event even more accessible. And the great thing is it adapts to your needs, whether it's an in-person event, whether it's virtual like our session here today, or a hybrid setup.
Amazing. So I see you've listed some platforms. At AMI, we're technology agnostic. We always choose the best technology for our clients. So what's wonderful is I see you're introduced to a lot of the key ones. How many platforms in total does Interprenet actually, slot into?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's over 80, but I think we can integrate into pretty much any meeting platform at this point. I haven't seen a platform that we can't integrate with. Of course, all the popular ones such as Zoom, MS Teams, WebEx, but also some of our AMI partners here, Cvent, Brandlive, we can integrate into those as well. So let me walk you through some of the additional benefits here in the next slide. Yeah, exactly. So what I wanted to point out is that AI speech translation is very cost effective. Many of you who have used maybe a human interpreter know that there's of course, cost involved. But AI speech translation is a cost effective technology that can give you high quality and scalability. And it's easy to set up. So for the attendees, we always talk about a great attendee experience. It's easy for them to just listen on their mobile device. It's easy for them to, get to the app, download it, just a QR code that's needed. And the app is already preset with the languages that you've chosen for your event. And it's ready on a shorter notice. It's suitable, like I mentioned, for many event setups, conferences, training sessions, presentations are typically the events that are using AI speech translation. And we also provide a concierge level support across, the entire journey from the start where we consult you on the best solution all the way through the actual experience.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So one question that's just come through on the chat that I'd just like to stop and ask you is that a lot of the businesses that we support have a lot of acronyms and a lot of abbreviations and very technical language. How do you at Interprenet ensure the accuracy for these industries?
Yeah, that's a great question and very often asked. So how do we achieve this accuracy, especially in those specialized verticals? is with custom glossaries. So what do? We prepare the engines with unique terminology that is expected at your event, and that includes things like brand names, speaker names and titles, which, let's face it, often get butchered, and then also technical terms or acronyms, anything that you think is a very important term or terminology that you want to make sure gets translated properly and doesn't get lost in translation. We can prepare the glossary ahead of time and feed the engine. The other way that we achieve accuracy is by what we call AI benchmarking, and that's a fancy term for saying that our technology team in the backend is basically always looking for the top AI translation engines to ensure best performance for each language combination, right? Because sometimes we think probably often because we speak English first and foremost here in North America, but you might need another language combination. Maybe you don't need English to French. Maybe you need, Spanish to Portuguese or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so we want to make sure that you get the best accuracy by using the best engine for that language combination.
That's great. I'm sure that'd be really reassuring to many of our leaders watching the webinar. Another question that I know will come up, and it's a hot topic when discussing AI, is obviously around security. Many of our clients are in highly regulated, strictly compliant industries. So how do you address the security aspects of interpretation?
Yeah, so that's a very important question, and also often asked. Our technology is ISO certified for information security management, and we encrypt our audio streams. Video streams are also encrypted if you work with a human interpreter. For the AI speech translation, we only need the audio feed, and we also have two-factor authentication, which gives you access to the tool if you desire that. So you're all covered.
Amazing, great. And finally, I'd just really like to know, obviously AMI supports meetings all over the world, and often our planners need multiple languages. So just out of interest, currently, how many languages does your AI solution actually support?
Yeah, that's also a great question. So currently we're supporting over 80. I think we're at exactly 83. 80. Right. And this includes all the official UN languages, almost all official European Union languages, and then the most spoken Asian languages. And the list, of course, keeps growing because engines are, getting better and better. So we are continuously adding new languages to the mix. Just maybe for comparison, human interpreters, we cover about 300 languages. So there is, still like a bridge, let's say, that we need to build. But the great thing with AI speech translation is that makes your event much more flexible when it comes to choosing, live translation for your event. So we walk every client through the different solutions and really make sure that we get the right solution for your specific event scenario. So we walk you through questions like how complex and specialized is the topic. Again, we can work with AI glossary for higher accuracy. But then also, what are the languages that you need? Do you require a very specific language pair? And also how many attendees will use the service. So what's often happening is that some clients use a human interpreter for their main session, and then maybe breakout sessions are supplemented by AI speech translation because you might not have enough attendees to justify the cost of a human interpreter, right? So we can do solution mix for your event, and that gives you really great flexibility and more flexibility that you had before AI speech translation for your event.
That's great. It sounds like, you'll customize the use of AI for every single event need. That's wonderful. I know that there is so much more you can explore within your industry and how you're leveraging AI. If indeed you do have any additional questions or want to engage with Interprenet and Nina, we will be sharing all of our panelists' details at the end of the webinar. But finally, someone's been waiting very patiently in the virtual wings. And I'm absolutely delighted to introduce my fellow Brit, who we've been partnering with now for over 6 years. The amazing Lisa Boyce. She actually presents to you over this side of the pond. She's here with me in the UK, and she's Director of International and Channel Sales at Brandlive. Brandlive is a pioneering platform that specializes in live and on-demand video experiences, empowering organizations to create truly unforgettable events and forge meaningful connections with their audiences through virtual experiences that leverage interactive and high-quality video. So welcome, Lisa. I'd love for you to share now how Brandlive is innovative and in the virtual space and leveraging AI for audience engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that wonderful introduction, Pip. And yes, I'm excited to be here and taking part in this great discussion. So I'm going to kick things off by kind of setting the scene with any of us that have been involved in events know that effective event management hinges on a seamless flow through 3 essential stages. We have the planning, execution, and follow-up. And each of these phases presents their own set of unique challenges and can be resource-intensive processes that often involve significant time, costs, and in some cases uncertainties. So during the planning phase, organisers face challenges with aligning schedules, selecting appropriate venues or platforms, and coordinating speakers and, importantly, developing the content. Execution requires management of logistics, technologies, staffing, and then after the event, following up to gauge audiences' satisfaction and measuring the impact and success can feel sometimes like guesswork without having clear metrics. And that then makes it hard to justify the investment or get buy-in for future events and refine those future strategies. So what we're doing here at Brandlive is transforming the way that event organisers plan, execute and follow up on their events. And that's by harnessing the power of AI and its potential to make event planning and execution more efficient and more impactful than ever. So let's start with event planning. Now we know that guesswork, for example, can be, as I've mentioned, costly and very time-consuming obstacles to overcome. And our AI capabilities take the guesswork out of that process. So at the click of a button, you'd be able to generate comprehensive event overviews based on your specific inputs, such as event goals, objectives, the event title, and speaker lineup. But it goes even further than that. By analysing Brandlive's historical data, AI can also suggest optimal dates and times for your events, recommend durations, and even flag what content resonated well with past audiences. So having this data-backed approach means that we can predict what will engage the audiences most effectively, so minimising that trial and error in the planning process. And then as the event draws closer, our AI tools can open up that deeper engagement with audiences. We have features such as pre-event planning, pre-event Q&A, comment collection, and our AI can identify those common questions and recurring themes that matter most to the attendees. And having this insight really helps the presenters and the speakers shape their content and their talk tracks to address the audience's genuinely cared about kind of thoughts and sentiments. So creating that more tailored and meaningful experience. And then post-event, the AI tool can streamline that follow-up process. So imagine, for example, you want to create a 30, 60, 90-second highlight reel that really captures those most engaging moments of your event. And that's based on audiences' interaction and their sentiment. So these short videos are perfect for social media and can really help drive that on-demand viewing. And then in addition to that, AI can create detailed analytical reports for sponsors and partners, so clearly outlining the ROI and engagement metrics. So having that data-driven insight really offers that transparency and adds value to those sponsor relationships. So in essence, AI, it isn't just a support tool, it's a real powerful asset that can make that entire event life cycle from planning to post-event smarter, more effective, and really enabling event planners to elevate and create those more impactful connections.
Fantastic. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day, both, with live and virtual events. So are you using AI in any other ways at Brandlive?
Yeah, so the points that I've touched on really kind of focuses on that event planning and making sure that you have all of that great content. But, getting all of that great content is one thing. We want to make sure that the audience is engaged and enjoying the show. So if we think of how AI is already woven into our personal lives, and I'll use Netflix as an example, I must admit I do binge a lot of Netflix shows, but the great thing about that is I always rate and like the shows that I've enjoyed, and then I get personal recommendations from it. I'm also very much a heavy user of YouTube for how-to videos, and sometimes I get a 10-minute video and I just want to jump exactly to that content that's relevant for me to watch. So at Brandlive, we're bringing that personalized experience into the workplace. So imagine, as an attendee, I join a show maybe 10, 15 minutes late, and I want to know what I've missed. We've got AI-driven summaries that can give real-time recaps of what you've missed. And it also works for post-event too. I can go and revisit that on-demand content, ask for a 3 or a 5 bullet summary of a keynote speaker's presentation, or a summary of a specific segment, or even the entire show. And we're also harnessing the power of AI with searchable personalized transcripts. So with real-time speech-to-text technology, every word will be transcribed. So again, as an attendee, I can find exactly what it is that I need, that I want to go back and review, whether it's a specific topic or a memorable quote. And we've also introducing personal note-taking, so sticking on that kind of personalized theme. As an attendee, I can jot down my thoughts during an event or during a series of events, and then access them later in my own profile. So everything that I need is in that kind of one place. And then finally, our Hubs platform. So it acts like a corporate Netflix, an engagement portal that centralizes all of the content in a visually engaging way with horizontal carousels, recommended content, and easy ways to be able to build watch lists. So again, content that's really personalized and relevant to you. So in summary, making both live and on-demand events more interactive, more accessible, more personalized, and using AI to really create a new engaging future for the whole events experience.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness. I mean, I know we've just touched on each of your industries and the solutions you bring to both live, virtual and hybrid events. And that's already so many ways we can leverage AI to benefit not only event planners and the sourcing team members to provide efficiencies, but also just to really ensure that attendees' experiences are personable and really effective as well. So it's super exciting. I feel like we've got every area of meetings and events covered, and I know it's still very early days with the enhancements of AI, and all of you have really exciting AI roadmaps. So we look forward to checking in with you, a little bit later to find out where we're at. Who knows? It's exciting for sure.
AMI, your meeting experience perfected.